Hey everybody, welcome to the socaldramtram. This your boy Cesar.
And I'm Matt, and today we got a bit of a fun one for you guys. Today starts our budget month. So budget month, we decided we wanted to go ahead and take a little bit of time in February and talk about some of the best whiskeys in our opinions. This isn't a list from the internet. This isn't a list from any bar or anything like that. This is literally Cesar and I going to the liquor store and saying, ooh, what's that? And so we had a couple of qualifiers with this. They had to be whiskeys that were under $30, $29.99, not including tax, because Uncle Sam wants his cut. So they had to be under $30, and they had to be readily available. Nothing that was like a unicorn bottle or anything like that. You could walk into any respectable liquor store, or you can walk into a grocery store and pick any one of these guys up. And the way that we kind of figured out how these whiskeys were going to rank up, we had 10 whiskeys. You'll notice that there's 5 here. There's 5 more that didn't quite make the top 5 because it's a top 5 list, not a top 10. And the way we picked them was we did a blind challenge. So what we did was my wife helped us out, and she went ahead and labeled the bottles, labeled a couple of Glencairns for us, and we went in blind. We took some notes, and it was an interesting experience. What did you think of it overall, Cesar?
It was crazy. It was a shootout. I remember getting halfway through the 10 tastings and being like, wait a second, this can't be a bourbon. There's only 3 bourbons in here. Not all these can be bourbons. So, you get sidetracked into thinking it's one thing, and then it's obviously not that, because if you thought that was a different one before, you know what I'm saying? Anywho, it was very interesting, and I'm glad I was able to go through that experience for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've never done really a blind challenge with multiple whiskeys. Kind of in preparation for it, my wife was doing me the kind favor of pouring me a blind whiskey every night I came home from work. And I do my best to guess it. First night, I did pretty good. I actually nailed it. So it was a standout whiskey. Every other night was pretty terrible. So it was really interesting to see how these stacked up. Kind of like you were saying, you're like, hey, this has got to be a bourbon, but then you see the results and you're like, oh, it's Scotch. Okay, cool, my palate isn't refined. But that's okay. The whole point of a blind challenge is that you judge the whiskey on the whiskey, not what you're used to, not the name you're used to shopping for, whatever the case. So if you've never done a blind, I highly recommend it. You can check out Aquavite's channel, and he's linked up with a bunch of other YouTubers, or whiskey tubers, I should say. Drew from Scotch for Dummies. He's linked up with Rob from Whiskey in the Six, Daniel from the Whiskey Tribe, and he kind of puts together a little blind challenge for him. A little bit more detailed than the one that we did, but if you've never done one or you don't know what we're talking about, check it out. They're really fun to watch, and even guys who know their stuff when it comes to whiskey can even get tripped up. So anyway, this is going to be ranking number 5. So the whiskey that placed 5th in our top 5 list was Elijah Craig Small Batch. Now, Elijah Craig is one of the bourbons that's actually one of my favorite bourbons. This is the one that I always talking about as the snake that bit me. Now, you'll notice here that this is a 175 bottle. That's just because I was lazy and didn't want to go out and buy the regular 750 ml bottle, because I already had this. But routinely, Elijah Craig on the shelf, 750 ml bottle is about $24.99. So this was more than easily to put into the under 30 list. And again, it's readily available. You can get it at Albertsons, you can get it at Ralph's, Walgreens, Total Wine, Bevmo, pretty much anywhere liquor is sold. So we're going to go ahead and dive into it. As far as coins today, I'm going to actually be using a gift from the Last Drop. Chris, thank you so much, man, for sending us these. We really appreciate them. They're really cool, handcrafted wood coins, laser etched. Really cool channel. If you haven't checked him out, check out Chris at Last Drop Reviews. He's fantastic. What coin are you using today, Cesar?
For my topper coin, I'm going to use my Whiskey Dick. And then for my coaster coin is Scotch on the Bayou.
So right off the bat on the nose, and again, I've drank plenty of Elijah Craig. Actually, I've got an empty bottle up here that acts as my bar piggy bank for our channel. Whenever we want to go grab a new bottle, we have some money saved up, and it's going to be a fun one when it's some time to actually crack that bottle.
Very.
But right on the nose on this guy, you get a lot of that bourbon influence. I mean, I don't know the exact percentages, but I know it's a corn, a little bit of barley, and I want to say wheat, if I'm not mistaken, is the mash bill on this one. Again, I don't know what the split is on it, but you get a lot of that bourbon influence from the vanilla. You get a little bit of the cherry note, even some brown sugar and a little bit of molasses.
Yeah, that brown sugar for sure. You could definitely get that fresh seasoning in the wood, that first time use of the cask. Definitely very flavorful in the smell.
You know, even on the palate, a lot of those, excuse me, a lot of those notes come straight through. The cherry is very predominant for me with the vanilla. It's almost like a cherry vanilla Coke. You know, you go to like 7-Eleven and you can like play mad scientist with the soda machine. It's kind of what this glass is in terms of the flavors that I'm getting off of it. Another way that I've described this bourbon is kind of like Christmas in a glass, because I do get a lot of those baking spices from the barrel influence. So I get a little bit of that cinnamon, get a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of clove even. And that's going to be from that New American Oak, like you were saying. But yeah, I mean, on the palate, I really like this one. Have you tried it yet?
Yeah, for me, to be honest, it is that cherry note is hitting pretty strong. To be honest, it reminds me of I never liked those chocolate covered cherry things. I never liked them, but it kind of reminds me of that, but with a better flavor. This cherry is coming out pretty nice, and you also get that deep cinnamon too.
Yeah, for sure. And so I went ahead and I put a couple of drops of water on it. And by the way, this is presented at 94 proof or 47% ABV. You'd swear I'm already drunk right now because I'm like tripping over my words. This is literally the first glass of the night, folks. It's going to be a long shoot. But anyway, I went ahead and put 3 drops of water. And then when we did the blind, that was kind of what we did as well. We did 3 drops per glass. Before I hand you this, the reason why I still have it in my hand is I wanted to go ahead and shout out Jeremy from Social Sippers Club. If you haven't checked out his channel, he's fantastic. He's got these little water droplet containers up on his website, socialsippers.com. Adding to the evidence, I swear I'm not drunk. And if you haven't checked him out, check him out. Go ahead and pick up some of his stuff. Really cool guy. I'm going to pass that off to you.
Pass that.
So with the water, it doesn't really tame anything down. It kind of brings up almost like a little bit of sour note, which is really interesting. Kind of like, almost like a sour cherry. Kind of like if you think like Warheads, you know what I mean, like the Warhead sour candy. You get like because you still get the cherry on the nose, but there's a little bit of a sour.
I think it's definitely a little bit more citrusy. For me, it reminds me of that Sharpie smell, but it definitely got a little like more citrusy for sure.
It's super interesting that you put water on it and usually kind of neuters the alcohol, but for you it brought it up.
Yeah. However, in tasting it kind of mellowed it a tad bit. Like it's smoother for sure.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, the vanilla is definitely more rounded. I lost the honey completely, but it did kind of enrichen, I guess is the word I'm looking for, enrich the molasses note. There's this dessert that I used to make called shoe fly pie. It's basically butter, brown sugar, and molasses. So fat, and fat. Again, fat kid. And it's really good. It's just deep molasses, and it's kind of reminding me of that. And you get a little bit of like, it's not malt, but you get a little bit of kind of like that pie crust malty note. Kind of like an apple pie, like the end of the apple pie. This is going to be a great session, guys.
Yeah. I mean, you say it's like a rounded vanilla. I think it's a little more squared, but just kidding. No, yeah, it's definitely that citrus brought out. To me, it kind of tastes like a smooth tobacco flavor, a little bit.
Interesting. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I've had this bourbon quite a bit. I know that I really like it. I was shocked that it placed 5th. I was happy that it got into the top 5, but I was shocked that it was 5th. I thought for sure it was going to rank higher, especially with some of the other ones on the table. But being that this is $24.99, being that it's got a lot of depth, it's got a lot of character, being that it's a bourbon, if I had to rate this, I'm going to go ahead and give it a solid 3. I think my palate's kind of evolved. Like normally I'm just like gung-ho on this bottle, gung-ho on this liquid. But tonight I'm not really kind of like super feeling it. Now, I do have a bottle of the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof on my bar, and it's the C919 batch, and that stuff is money. I'm looking forward to reviewing that at some point soon here. But I'm going to go ahead and go with a 3. 3 trams on the car, or 3 carts on the tram on this one, and say that if you haven't had a chance to try Elijah Craig, give it a go. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Where are you sitting?
You know what? Really quick, it smells like pepperoncinis. Those yellow chilies. That's exactly what. Like it smells exactly like that to me right now. Pepperoncinis, I think that's what they are. Those yellow chilies you like to eat with your In-N-Out burger.
You're on the right track with the pepperoncinis. I don't know if I get the note, but I do get like a spicy,
citrusy.
Something, yeah. I think you're not far off. I don't know if it's peppuccini, but I get where you're going.
Yeah, I just had to say that. I didn't expect that,
you're
but
good,
there
you're
it is. For reviews, I'll definitely give it a solid 3. It's definitely, like you said, a good middle of the road bourbon. I'm starting to get really into bourbon, and I've found some really good stuff. But for that price, it's definitely a solid price point, and you get some good quality out of it.
Awesome. Well, it's a 3 from me. It's a 3 from Cesar. Do us a favor, guys. Hit us up in the comments. Have you had Elijah Craig Small Bash? Have you had the Barrel Proof? What other Elijah Craig's offering have you had? Let us know down in the comments. And be sure to like this video, hit that bell for notifications, and be sure to subscribe. It's the hashtag Race to100 for us, so we can change that URL. That way it's easier to find us. But no, seriously, guys, thanks for sticking around. Cesar, you got anything else to add?
No, what about you, Matt?
Not much. All aboard. Catch you next time. Hey everybody, hope you liked that video.
Don't forget to hit that bell for notifications.
And don't forget to subscribe.